What's up YouTube, Dow here from Zephyr Games. Today bringing you what won the poll, and that is of course Buster Blader. Now this deck, once it came into Master Rule 5, actually got a massive boost from itself. There are a couple of ways that you can play this deck and a couple of different versions. I have gone with Pure. By Pure what I mean is I don't focus on Dragon Link, I don't focus on the Crusader engine or Halley Firebrax. This is pretty much Buster Blader plays. I do play a small Cyverse engine just to keep the consistency going for the deck, and I will show you that combo towards the end of the video as well, so you can see how to play the deck and use and abuse it to its full potential. Now obviously its game plan is to get Buster Blader the Destruction Sword on board and the Dragon, which basically turns all your opponent's monsters into dragons, shifts them to defense. This guy does piercing damage, gains 500 for every dragon your opponent controls and in the graveyard, and then on top of that you're then going to equip this with the Buster Whelp from the deck as well, and it's pretty much going to say, cool, not only am I going to negate all your effects, make you all dragons, I'm also not going to let you access the extra deck. If done correctly as well, you can dodge Nibiru, which is massively important for this deck. With that said and done, please smash the like button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more Yu-Gi-Oh content. This week we do have, of course, the Sacred Beast structure deck. We will be bringing you, as we always do, the Sacred Beast deck itself, the opening of it that is, plus a budget version, so the build using only 3 of the structure decks, and Joe will bring you a full powered version with no budget restrictions on it at all. So, let's get into today's profile of Buster Blader. Now, another one of Yugi's kind of core cards. I didn't really get to see enough of this in the anime, so it would have been nice to see a little bit more. But, regardless, we've got triple Buster Blader. Now, basically the whole idea behind this is you're very rarely going to use him on the board as and when you see fit, but sometimes you can get him on the board, and he is going to gain 500 attack for each dragon monster your opponent controls or is in their graveyard. So if you've got this comboed off, he's going to be massive, because not only is your Destruction Sword guy going to do piercing, but he's also going to get a nice power boost as well. We then, of course, play triple Buster Whelp of Destruction Swords. So this is obviously your searcher of everything. The only downside is it has to be normal summoned to get the add effect off. However, you can tribute this card, special summon 1 Buster Blader from your hand or graveyard. And then if this card is in your graveyard and you control Buster Blader, you discard 1 Destruction Sword card and special summon it. Now, you can only use one of the following effects per turn, and only once that turn. So obviously you can't tribute off, bring out Buster Blader, and then bring it back, because then that would just be stupid. But then again, there are cards out there that do that anyway, so I don't see why not letting Buster Blader do this would be so bad. Regardless, it is your searcher, so when it is normal summoned, you add a Destruction Sword card. So that is how you get into your, basically your Fusion Play trap card, or your Synchro Play trap card as well. We've then got double Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. Now this is the one that locks your opponent out of the extra deck. You should be quite familiar with this card purely because it is being used and abused to all heck with Union Carrier. And Buster Blader would be the massive casualty if Buster Dragon got banned. Now it is due for a rarity bump in Armageddon, so do not expect this to be banned before September. So no emergency ban list coming in from there. But on top of that as well, you can swap this out for the other Buster Dragon ones. So there is one that stops spells, and there is one that stops traps, and I believe one that stops graveyard as well. So you can do 1-on-1. The reason we've got 2 is because this is so important right now that if you do open it up, it still has uses for you. And if you don't open it up, of course you are going to equip it with your Buster Blader combo. For the last Buster Blader, we do play the 1 Destruction Swordsman, just because it is another Buster Blader target. It does become Buster Blader on the field or in the graveyard, and that is very important for the fusion plays and for the little spicy fusion play that we actually play in this as well. We then play a small, I say small Dark Magician engine, but a small engine of Magician Souls for your draw power, because there's a couple of the traps you actually don't mind having in the grave, and there are a couple of the cards that you're like, okay, cool, they've used up their usefulness, I might as well ditch them for a draw. The one thing that this actually gives to the deck as well is your Magicien Sombre. Now, this is a French-style magician, of course. Now, a lot of people actually overlook this, and I think this is very, very important. So, in the extra deck, there is a monster that uses... Oh, you know what? I'm not even going to try and play games with you guys. I'm just going to explain it straight away. Dark Paladin. Now, naturally, some people think Dark Paladin is actually a warrior. Wrong. Dark Paladin is a spellcaster. So, if, and this is very, very if you are able to put 2 Buster Bladers into the graveyard, you're actually able to end your board on the Destruction Lock plus a Dark Paladin. Purely because you go into Verti Anaconda, and then you can use Magicalized Fusion, send that, banish a Dark Magician from the graveyard if you've used Souls, and then banish a Buster Blader, and you can get a Dark Paladin out. And that allows you to negate spells. So, yeah. And I love that artwork. I think the artwork is stunning. Anyway, the little Cyberse engine that we play is triple Draconet and 1 Flame Veil Guard. Purely because this combo on its own is a 1-card combo that gets you into, or the part of the 2-card combo that gets you into the full Buster Lock. And I'll show you that towards the end. But the idea is you normal summon this. This will special summon this from deck. You can do, if you want to, it is a tuner, so you could do Halley Firebrax plays. But this will get you into the Destruction Sword. And then that allows you to move your plays further forward. Obviously, the biggest downside of this is it is your normal summon. So if you get this and the Buster Whelp, you're kind of stuck like, no, I don't want to add, don't want to send. It all depends on what the rest of your hand is. This engine can be taken out. I do play this alongside triple Silent Mining just to add the consistency. But if you wanted to take this 7-card engine out, that could be your Crusadia engine. It could also be like your Hand Trap engine as well if you want. Really depends on where you want to go with it on that kind of angle. Then for the other spells, Triple Call by the Grave, because your Buster Whelp is important to go off. Your Cynet Draconet is also important to go off, so you have to play whatever card you can to stop that being negated, and obviously Call by the Grave is the best one to do it. Where Art Thou? If you get Magician's Soul or the Buster Whelp, you're then going to have the abilities to get the other one. So the idea is with Magician's Soul, of course, you can search out the Destruction Sword you need to synchro, or you search out the one that you're going to dump to the graveyard to fusion summon. So then you just go, okay, Souls, activate Where Art Thou, get the Buster Whelp, normal summon the Buster Whelp so you don't pay the 2k, Buster Whelp searches you out, Souls can then send, it can send any dead Where Art Thou's as well, gives you draw power. Or vice versa, you go Buster Whelp searches you out Destruction Sword, Where Art Thou searches you out Magician's Souls, off you go. So definitely Where Art Thou 3 is very, very important in this deck. And then we play 1 3-ofs, so we got, 3 1-ofs. We've got the Magicalized Fusion, which I talked to you about. So because Dark Paladin is a spellcaster, you can send this off of the 30 Anaconda and then special summon out your Dark Paladin. Monster Reborn, bring back Dark Magician if you really, really want to, but you can bring back any of your Buster Blader stuff as well. And then Destruction Sword is basically a super poly for the deck. So you fusion summon 1 fusion monster that lists Buster Blader as material from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or either side of the field as fusion material. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, add it back to your hand. Now, one little thing to keep in mind for this card is when Dragoons comes out, that Buster Blader plus this equals a rip of the Dragoons, because you just go, okay, cool, Destruction Sword, use my Buster Blader plus your Dragoons, and I'm going to go into Buster Blader. So it's another way of playing Super Poly as well, and another out to Dragoons when that does hit the TCG. Then the track lineup, of course, we've got Triple Track Tricks. Why are we playing Triple Track Tricks? Well, we are playing triple broken card of Destruction Sword. So Prologue of Destruction Sword, this is your synchro card, broken. Send 1 Destruction Sword card and 1 Buster Blader monster from your deck to the graveyard as cost, except itself. Special summon 1 Buster Blader from your extra deck or graveyard, but destroy it during the end phase of the next turn. You embarrass this card from the graveyard, this turn Destruction Sword card you control cannot be destroyed by a battle or card effect. Nice! So absolutely amazing card. So good, and basically just lets you synchro because you just go, okay, cool, Buster Dragon, cool, and then as long as you've sent your Destruction Sword, you're then going to be able to make this guy as well. Broken! So then Destruction Sword of Memories, discard 1 Destruction Sword card, special summon 1 Buster Blader monster from your deck. You can banish this card from the graveyard, fusion summon 1 Buster Blader, the Dragon Destruction Swordsman, from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it. These are both traps. These can both be triggered, their graveyard effects, during your opponent's turn. The idea is to protect against Nibiru. What you do is you activate this, your 5th summon, or your 4th summon is the Buster Dragon, and then the 5th summon would be your fusion. So you'd go, okay, opponent's turn, standby phase, shotgun this, bring out the Destruction Sword, and then Buster will then go off to lock your opponent out. And then this next card is actually a shout out to the Wisefire Alliance TCG. I saw them put this in and I was like, oh my god, that card's insane. So double Redrain. So if you control a level 8 or higher synchro monster, banish all monsters on the field except the monster or monsters with the highest level. Also, the remaining face-up monsters on the field are unaffected by other card effects except their own until the end of this turn. If a Dark Dragon Synchro monster is Synchro summoned to your field while this card is in the graveyard, you get to add this back to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn, but I mean, like, your Buster Dragon is a level 8 Dark Synchro. Your Buster Destruction Sword is a level 8 Fusion. So if you've got both of those on board and your opponent, the example that Wise used was if they want a Dark Ruler no more or anything like that, you go, okay, cool. Redrain protects, destroys everything, and because both of mine are level 8, so as long as you're not putting anything of a level 8 or higher, everything else is going to go bye-bye. And then because it's a normal trap, you search it off a trap trick, which is why we play 2. And then finally we've got the 1 Destruction Sword Flash. You can place it 2, so it is a trap trick target. But basically, if you control a fusion monster that lists Buster Blader as material, banish all monsters your opponent controls. When a card or effect is activated that targets a Buster Blader monster or monsters you control, except during the damage step, you banish this card from the graveyard, negate the effect, and if you do, destroy it. I love this card. This card is so good. It's like, okay, cool. Trigger, banish all monsters. It's like a TT, but better. Because it doesn't destroy your stuff and banishes all of their stuff. And then you're comboing it off with Redrain. It's like, okay, I've got you under the Buster Lock. I'm now also going to lock you under the Redrain play as well. It's like, yeah, you're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're going to get beaten by Buster Blader. On to the extra deck. We'll save the fusions till last because they are beautiful. Let's go through the Link monsters. So you start off with the 1 Link Karibo. Comes off of your Souls, comes off of the Buster Whelp as well. And then Link 2s, we've got the IP Masquerena, Predaplant Verte Anaconda. So this is for your Magicalized Fusion play and only for that. IP Masquerena is just for an additional defensive play that if you want to, instead of going into this, you can go into this. Just so that you can lead into your Unicorn. Don't have to play it, can easily take it out should you wish. We've then got 2 Prologue Whelp of the Destruction Sword. This is, of course, I can't believe that a card like this is just 2 monsters. Like, it can be 2 anything. 2 effect monsters, 2 non-effect monsters, just 2 monsters. If it's Link Zoned, you send 1 Destruction Sword card from your deck to your graveyard. You can special summon 1 Buster Blader monster from your hand. At the end of the battle phase, if your opponent controls no monsters, you can target 1 Buster Blader monster you control that did not declare an attack this turn. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack. You can only use each effect of Whelp once per turn. So, one thing to mention is this card can't actually attack directly. So what the Whelp allows you to do is you can attack, clear your opponent's board off, and then use this effect. And if your opponent's got loads of dragons, you just go effect and burn damage them out. So, very, very important. And then for the Link 3s, we've got the 1 Nightmare Unicorn, just become off your IP Masquerena, and then the 1 Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, because you're playing with level 7s or higher. So this can actually be an incredibly powerful card that a lot of people struggle to deal with. So definitely important. For the Synchros, we've got 2 Buster Dragons. So all monsters your opponent controls become Dragon type. Once per turn, if you do not control a Buster Blader monster, you can type 1 Buster Blader in your graveyard, special summon it. Nice! Once per turn, during your opponent's turn, you can target 1 Buster Blader monster you control, equip it with 1 Destruction Sword monster from your graveyard. This is a quick effect. So you get to go, okay, cool. During your opponent's standby phase, shotgun the trap in the graveyard to special summon out the Buster Blader Destruction Sword, and then also going to equip it with the Buster Whelp that I've just sent off the other one anyway, and you're just going to sit there going, I guess I'm not going to activate my extra deck this turn, and you would be right. We've got the Savage Dragon just because it's a level 8 Dark Dragon and it is probably the most defensive level 8 or Synchro around. I've got the 1 Scarlet Redrain Archfiend. This can be anything you want. I just like putting this in here because it is an option to time. So you can get into your Synchros the hard way. And if your opponent's like, cool, I'm up on life points because some reason or another I've burnt you or I've done a little bit of damage. And you go, okay, main phase. And they're like, yay, I've won. You go, whoa, 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 hold on. I'm going to activate, I'm going to get into Scarlight. Scarlight's going to use this effect, nuke the entire board, burn you out. Game, cool. So it just gives you another offensive play. And then of course your Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss that can then come off of your Buster Dragon. Because remember, this will be destroyed during your next end phase after you've activated it. So if you, as long as you've been able to special summon on the Buster Whelp, so you've locked your opponent out of the extra deck, special summon the Buster Whelp, tune it with your Buster Dragon after this has brought back the Buster Blader already. And then you're going into Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, and it's just like, cool, power plays for days. And then finishing up the fusions, we've got the double Buster Blader Destruction Swordsman. You should only ever need one, but you always want two just as an additional backup. And of course, the one Dark Paladin. Beautiful duo right there. And then when you couple it off with this, beautiful trio. Yeah, so Dark Paladin switches off spells. You can discard a card to negate a spell, but you can only do that once per turn, I believe. And then the Buster Blader Destruction Swordsman. So must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card cannot attack directly, sad days. This card gains 1,000 attack and defense for each dragon type monster your opponent controls or is in their graveyard. Change all dragon type monsters your opponent controls to defense position. Also, dragon type monsters your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. So, comboing these off, he's going to make everything dragon. He's going to go, thanks buddy, I'm going to get all of this power and I'm going to do piercing as well. And like I said, if your piercing damage isn't going to be enough, so if you're like, okay cool, if I attack that card I'm going to do 1,000 piercing, if I attack that card I'm going to do 1,000 piercing, like I might as well wait, fill up my opponent's graveyard and go burn for 4,800. And believe it or not, I've actually used that effect and it has actually won me a game, so really kind of cool. Okay, so now let's show you quickly the 2-card combo that will give you the full lock. Now all you need is your Draconek or a way of getting to your Link monster, and then you'll prologue the Destruction Sword. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see more of the mat. And the way this is simply going to work is you're going to normal summon your Draconek. The effect of the Draconek is going to go off to special summon out your Flame Veil God. Then go link this into your Buster Whelp. Your Buster Whelp's effect is then going to go off, sending from your deck to the graveyard your Destruction Sword of Memories. Then what you're going to do from here is you're going to set the prologue, you're going to pass. Now you're only under 3 summons, which is beautiful. During your opponent's standby phase, you're going to activate prologue, you're going to send as cost your Buster Blader and the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. Very important that you send specifically these two. This will then allow you to special summon a Buster Dragon during your opponent's turn. And then what you can do from here is you can banish Destruction Sword of Memory by banishing a Flame Veil God, as it is a dragon, and your Buster Blader. You're able to special summon your Buster Blader, the Destruction Swordsman. You can then trigger Buster Dragon's effect, because it is a quick effect during your opponent's turn, to attach the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword to your Destruction Swordsman. So you're going to lock your opponent out of the extra deck. You're going to have 3 additional cards to play with, whether they be defensive back row or not. So very, very powerful, very, very straightforward on that as well. So you can see the consistency behind it, as you technically play like 6 of these, including your Tractrix, and then with the Draconek you technically play 6 of these because you do also play the Cynet mining as well. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for Buster Blader. Very, very powerful, nice little introduction for the deck as well, and can really, really get you some surprise wins. So do not sleep on the deck. It will catch people off, but it is an old school Yugi deck that probably says, you know what, I feel like bricking you today, so we're probably going to brick it. Still very, very powerful, still very, very good, and still very, very fun, especially if you are a fan of the original anime as well. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more Yu-Gi-Oh content. And as always, guys, until next time, happy dueling. Venom Battle Gear, where you can pick up your very own limited edition print of our Yugi mat with Dark Magician Girl, and Dark Magician of Chaos. Artwork is exclusively designed by Nixie Arts as well, so check out her link in the Instagram below. Pick it up for shipping worldwide.